Okay, so we're doing a series of iPad accessibility features, and we're on the third part. One of the things that I read up on last week was that the operating system iOS 17 is being updated today. Today it is at 1 p.m. this afternoon. This is Apple, and in that upgrade, there's a special part called assistive touch for seniors. Yes, there's a special part in that upgrade. And I did my research on it, and I was hoping to demonstrate it today. But then when I checked with Apple this morning, they're saying that I can't upgrade on my iPad until 1 p.m. this afternoon. So I can't demonstrate the features of it, but I can at least discuss it with you, show a video on it, on what to expect and how much it can make a difference when using your iPad. So moving ahead, the disclaimer: the Wilderness Technology DC Alliance Senior iPad Program, its owners and presenters offer technical assistance, virtual health, well-being information designed for educational purposes only. You should not rely on information in any application or topics made by the Wilderness Alliance, including but not limited to mobile and device applications, any social media pages maintained by the Wilderness Technology Alliance DC iPad Program, its owners, presenters, as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or legal advice. All right, thank you for listening on that. So we started off with, there are 4 categories in the iPad accessibility features. There's vision. We looked at vision. We looked at some, not all, of the physical and motor aspects, and we looked at hearing. We also looked at general. We haven't touched general as yet. We will in the future, but at this point we haven't. But one of the things I wanted to really get into today, as I mentioned, and why is my mouse? Okay, hold on. My mouse is acting up. So let's get my mouse back. Yep, get it back. Is this new iOS 17 feature that is very important for the use of the iPad. So, okay, so we looked, like I said, we looked at vision and we looked at some of the physical part. So I'm going to now jump to the part that I found, the research that I did on the new assistive touch. I'm going to show a brief video on that, and then we're going to look at some of the features. And from there, we're going to watch another video and what a difference it can make, assistive touch, in your lives. So we're going there this morning. Here it is. So this is it. The assistive touch iOS 17 feature. Let's get a grasp. It says it's an Apple. We will show you how. Well, I'm going to do my best. I can't demonstrate it, but I can show you how it will be set up, customized. And what I'll do is on Friday, I'll actually, by that time, I would have had access to the iOS 17, and I can help you download your iOS 17 on Friday. And then from there, set up your assistive touch features. Okay, so that will be Friday. Nope, sorry, can't do that on Friday. I just realized I still have one more vacation day I must use on Friday. So I'm going to organize, it's either going to have to be Monday. Okay, but it will be.
Assistive touch is really helpful.
Hold on, let me
go down to assistive touch and turn it on. You'll notice that there's a little dot on your screen. You can reposition. First
beginning, can you hear it? Are you hearing anything?
Yeah.
You are hearing?
Yeah.
Do you turn up the volume or?
Just by dragging and dropping, and it'll go to the edge of your screen. When you tap on it, it'll bring up this menu. It's like having the home button in different controls right here in the middle of your screen, such as, you know, the control center if I want to access the control center. If I want to tap on home, I can hit 2 times and have my programs open if I'd like. I can hit 1 time, and that will bring me back to the home screen. I can go and there's even a way to set up a custom type of gesture as well. Let's say, for instance, I want to go to the device setting. I can go to the device setting and just control my volume, lock my screen.
Oops.
Assistive touch is really helpful. If you go to accessibility, go down to assistive touch and turn it on, you'll notice that there's a little dot on your screen. You can reposition this just by dragging and dropping, and it'll go to the edge of your screen. When you tap on it, it'll bring up this menu. It's like having the home button in different controls right here in the middle of your screen, such as, you know, the control center if I want to access the control center. If I want to tap on home, I can hit 2 times and have my programs open if I'd like. I can hit 1 time, and that will bring me back to the home screen. I can go and there's even a way to set up a custom type of gesture as well. Let's say, for instance, I want to go to the device setting. I can go to the device setting and just control my volume, lock my screen, rotate my screen, etc. So it's really helpful if you don't have the dexterity in your hand to necessarily use the different buttons on the iPad. It can be very helpful to use them from your screen.
Okay. So what is assistive touch? Well, for example, and for those of you who have an iPhone as well, you can use it both on the iPhone as well as the iPad. It says here that it changes the look and the user interface of your device by showing only essential apps and very few operating system experiences. Furthermore, the added app can be distilled only to do specific things. Okay? In other words, you, the person who said, and I would be assisting you in doing so, your iPad can choose which apps to show during assistive access. You also get to enable only certain elements of an app. For example, you can set the camera only to take selfies and not record videos, or set the music app to show just a chosen playlist. It's a way of setting it and restricting, you know, features on the iPad. I don't, you know, and here's the reason why. Here's the reason why they're offering this feature. For example, this is to the left of my screen. We have the normal mode of the iPad. To the right is the assistive access. See the difference? Less, you know, for those who might be overwhelmed with technology and just new to this whole thing, and I know a few of you are, I know I was at some point, it can be overwhelming. And so a simpler approach is easier to adapt to, right? That one is full of a whole lot of apps and different things to confuse you, at least until you get the gist of it. So with that said, this is why they set up assistive touch. Hold on, let me get this out of the way. People with cognitive disabilities may find it challenging to use their iPhones or iPads with many app icons, home screen pages, settings, menus, submenus, notification, alerts, status bar, control center, app switcher, and whatnot. Therefore, assistive access cuts down most of these and offer a simplified interface to use important apps. Cognitive disability is a term that refers to a broad range of conditions that include intellectual disability, autism spectrum disorder, severe persistent mental health, brain injury, stroke, people, those that have stroke, Alzheimer's disease, and other dementias. So our population have, wouldn't you say we have people that had, at least I know a few seniors who've experienced stroke, and focus is difficult for them because of the stroke. Then we have those that are going into the early stages of Alzheimer's and dementia. So this assistive touch feature, even though it says, you know, it can be helpful for those individuals who don't want to be overwhelmed with technology, but would like to use the iPad. Okay, please interrupt me if you want some clarity in what I'm saying. I see a hand up. I'm going to ask you to unmute and please. Is it Mrs. Duckett? Go ahead, Mrs.
Yes,
Duckett.
it is. This feature that you're speaking of, is this the new feature that they're talking about downloading on our phones, iPhones? You know, the
Yeah.
the iPhone, and
today
it's supposed to update it or something from your phone from 11 up or something.
You're on it. You're on it, Mrs. Duckett. It is. It's well, I have access to it at 1.
Okay.
But it is today. Today is the day.
Okay.
It is. Yeah.
All right there.
Okay. So if it's downloads by itself, well, fine. But if it doesn't, I will be there to help you do so. Gloria, go ahead and unmute.
Thank you.
Gloria, unmute.
I think you just answered my question, because I was going to ask, would it automatically be done on the iPhones?
On the iPhone, I think, well, it depends on your iPhone. First beginning, my iPhone is iPhone 8. It will not be, my iPhone is not compatible.
Okay.
But all of your iPads are.
Okay.
Because you have the latest iPads. If you have an iPhone, it has to be older. It has to be more recent. Can't be an iPhone 8. It has to be a newer than iPhone 8.
Okay, thank you.
Mine is not included. So I need to upgrade and get a new phone if I want to enjoy these new features, or I'm happy with what I have. I'm not one to go out spending money unless I really have to.
I know that. I don't blame you.
And Dennis, go ahead, unmute. And Dennis, I see your hand up.
Okay, can I hear you?
Yeah.
I mean, can you hear me? But I'm confused this morning. So you're saying that we'll be able, it should be downloaded, but it may not be, and you're going to show us how to?
Yep, we'll make sure that it happens, because we want you to really take advantage of these new features.
Okay, okay, all right. Okay, I was just trying to get a little clarity. I was kind of missing something there. Okay, thank you.
Here, this is how accessibility features can help some of us.
The iPad is one of the most popular devices in the world, but what if you're new to this device and have a disability that makes it difficult to use? Or maybe you don't have a disability, but would just like an easy way to get started. Does the iPad provide some simple way to do the main things you want to do when you pick it up? Well, if you visited this channel before, you know we provide easy to follow videos that provide the extra help some seniors and beginners need to use their iPhone and iPad. Today's video is all about accessibility. Apple's made great strides in helping people with visual and physical impairments get the most out of their iPhones and iPads, and there are literally dozens of features that accomplish that goal. Unlike all of my other videos where I have at least 5 or 6 tips on how to use the iPhone or iPad, today I'm going to cover only one feature, Assistive Touch. And we're only going to look at a couple of its many features. My goal with this video is to help you, not scare you off with a bunch of content. However, you will learn how this one little feature can help you in so many ways. It's a shortcut of sorts, an easy way to do a number of things. If this sounds like it would help you or someone you know, then stick around. This video is for you. Hi, my name is Rich. Welcome to the channel and today's special video on the accessibility feature known as Assistive Touch. Today I'm going to show you only two things: how to turn on Assistive Touch and how to customize it to your liking. All right, let's get started. All right, the first thing I want to show you is simply how to turn on Assistive Touch. So here's what you do. You go to Settings. You scroll until you get to Accessibility and you tap on that. And then you go over till you see Touch. And you tap on that. And then you'll see Assistive Touch at the top. And if you look over here, it says Off. And if you tap on it, you can turn it on by tapping the little white button. And if you'll notice, a little icon appeared right here when I did that. So when you turn it off, the icon goes away. You turn it back on and the icon is on. And now you can just tap your home button and you'll see that you have this little square with a white dot in the center of it. That's the Assistive Touch icon. And you can move this around your screen anywhere you want it to be. I typically put it down here in the right-hand corner. It doesn't go in your dock like apps. It just floats above everything else. Now here's the cool thing. If you tap on this, you get some choices. You get Notification Center. So if you have any notifications, it pops up. If you just want to get back home and you don't have the strength to push the home button or swiping back home is hard, you can just tap on it, touch home, and now you're back to the home screen. You tap on it again. You can bring up Siri if you want. Hey Siri, what time is it?
It's 9:13 a.m.
You can tap away from Siri, and if you tap on it again, you can get the Control Center. Here you can raise and lower your brightness, raise and lower the volume, and a number of other things in Control Center. And I've got a really good video on Control Center. If you're interested in learning about that, check that video out. And if you tap on it, you've got these different choices. You can tap on Device, and you can turn your volume up like this. You can turn your volume down, and you never had to mess with the physical buttons on the side that can be kind of hard to press, especially if you've got a case on your iPad. So that is simply how you turn on Assistive Touch and place the Assistive Touch icon on the home screen wherever you want it to go. Now, you can also customize that. So when I tap on this, you get these choices here, but you can change those choices. So let me show you how to do that. So we'll tap away and we go back into Settings, back into Accessibility, back into Touch, Assistive Touch. And now you'll see Customize Top Level Menu. If you tap on that, here you see, you've got the same thing here that you have right here. So let's say you want to change that. Maybe you don't want Siri. So if you tap on that, you can scroll through and see all the different things you can turn that button into. I think I'll turn it into the camera. So now, if I'm back here and I tap on it, I've got access to my camera and I can just simply tap on the camera. If I want to go back home, I just tap on it and I go home. I don't have to worry about turning the camera off or swiping away to get back to the home screen. And there's other things you can do too. You can customize any one of these buttons to be whatever the choices are that Apple has in here. Maybe you have an app switcher, and that's a very fun thing to do. So maybe you have a whole bunch of apps open in the background and you don't really know what you have. If you tap on that and go to App Switcher, now you can see all the things that I have open here, like YouTube videos. And you can also customize other things. You can add an icon. So we'll add one here. And now we've got something up here and you want to add a function to that. You simply tap on the plus and you find something in here you like. I have some shortcuts, and this video is not about shortcuts, but I'll just show you a shortcut I use. It's called Browse Top News. And I'll tap on that. Go back to my home screen. Like that. Now, if I want to read the top news, I click Browse Top News. I'll choose, let's say, CNN. And then here are the top stories. We'll say, type on Elon Musk and click Done. And now it automatically opens up Safari to the story that I just tapped on. And so that's an easy way to get to news using a shortcut through assistive touch. So I think you can see the power in this little feature right here. It's a good way to get started with the iPad. If you have a hard time navigating around, you can customize these little buttons to be what you want them to be within limits. You can't do anything with them, but you can do a lot of stuff with them. And it's just an incredibly powerful tool to get started. I really hope you found this short little video helpful. I know there are many people with physical impairments who would enjoy using the iPad if there was an easy way to do it. In this video, I've just scratched the surface on the iPad's accessibility features, but I do think I've hit on one super useful feature, assistive touch.
Okay, so now you get an idea about assistive touch.
The iPad is...
Hold on. Let me get back to my slides. So you get an idea about how useful it is, okay? What I have here now is basically the steps in setting it up. And I don't necessarily want to demonstrate it today because I would like to have the iOS 17 downloaded on the iPad first. And I can't do that until 1, and then after that. So I'm going to figure out what day is the best day to get everybody on board with it, okay? So we're just going to look at what it can do for you and the steps that are necessary to set it up. So let's, so we watched that video, so let's go back. So basically, to turn it on is you must go to settings, right? Settings is the place to start. But first, we must have what? We must make sure that the iOS 17 is already downloaded. And then from there, we can go to accessibility, then assistive touch, which you could see here. These are the steps. And then there are many steps involved. It says Apple recommends having the Apple ID of the person who will be using the iPhone or the iPad in assistive access mode. If another Apple ID is added, you can tap change Apple ID and use an Apple ID on this device, meaning your device. Okay, so there says you could choose the appearance, meaning, remember when I showed the normal mode versus the assistive mode, how it changes? That's where the steps come in. You'll be setting that up based on your needs, okay? The appearance of it. So there are many steps. In fact, I don't even have all the steps here. It's a process. So it's going to take us, I would say a couple weeks or more to actually get this up and running. Because first thing we have to do is make sure everybody has the iOS 17, and then from there we begin setting it up, and you create it or you configure it based on your needs.